Hello, gamers. This is something different, isn't it? Look at what we have here. AD&D 2nd Edition, Haunted Halls of Evening Star by Ed Greenwood, one of the best writers. Pretty unanimous decision in naming him one of the best classic D&D writers. The Forgotten Realms, I believe, was his personal. Let's see. Yeah, he was the creator of the Forgotten Realms. I just fact checked myself there real quick. He was the creator of the Forgotten Realms setting, and so this is his baby. The Forgotten Realms is now, like, in my opinion, the main D&D setting for 5th edition. And this is its humble beginnings. Obviously this isn't the first, but I did some research, and I think this is a good module to learn D&D, AD&D 2nd edition. And that's what the focus of this video will be, and this series, hopefully. Fingers crossed. The format of this video is going to be very different than the other videos. It's going to be heavily edited because, after all, I will be learning a lot, and so I'll also be playing alone, and so without other people to bounce off of, there's going to be pauses, there's going to be breaks, there's going to be lots of looking up and trying to understand and watching other videos of rules. I have a basic grasp of the system, and obviously I've played 5th edition since it came out. That's what got me into D&D originally, but I feel like I have gotten to a point where, I don't know, 5th edition is great, and I love it for its accessibility, but for me, I just love to geek out about every little detail and all of the customization and all of the options that you have, and that is what 2nd edition is going to offer us. And I wanted to make this video to kind of this series, not only for myself, but if anybody, especially one of my players, wink wink, wants to watch and kind of learn how to play through me playing, then I would have somebody else to play with. So I enjoy playing by myself. It has its time and place. It has its pros and cons, like anything. But yeah, I bought some of the modules, bought some of the materials, looked through like Internet Archives for a lot of the rest, and I found, did a lot of research, asked AI what it thought, gave it its opinions, asked the Reddit subreddits what they thought, and just gathered a lot of information about this game setting, or this game rule set. And even just like those familiar with 5th edition, you can look at this character sheet and be very overwhelmed very easily. In fact, some of my players were very overwhelmed very easily when I tried to get them to do this. And again, that's part of the reason why I'm making these videos. And so not even I really truly understand where a lot of these numbers come from. I mean, they come from tables, obviously, but I don't understand the math behind them, and I don't understand exactly what they do or where they are on the character sheet, because this handy-dandy character sheet that I found kind of autofills a lot of these numbers so that you don't have to constantly reference the tables. You just plug in your rolled stats. And I think that's like the first thing that I did differently. Is usually in 5th edition, I would roll 4d6 and take the highest 3, and then assign them wherever I wanted. For AD&D, I believe I did method 1, is what they called it. There were like 5 methods, and I think that method that everybody uses for 5th edition now is called like method 5 or something. But I wanted to use, like, I don't know, I wanted to quote-unquote be true to the module, and also, I don't know, I just wanted to change it up. And so I only rolled 3d6, and just took the addition of all of those and added them, and then we have our racial abilities up here. This is an old character of mine. He is a dwarf, a sundered dwarf, which we'll get into that later. Uh, Dude man guy, lawful good, axe for a higher kit. I definitely wanted to work in kits because not using them is hard, as far as I understand. It's a lot easier to kind of ascribe to a kit, and we'll obviously get into that later as I pull up the modules. Um, but yeah, I rolled 3d6 and then just added them one at a time. I didn't assign these wherever I wanted. You know, obviously I'm a fighter, so if I wanted, I would have put this 13 in strength or dex or even constitution. But I don't know. That's not what the method said to do, and so I just figured, why not do it the way that the book suggests first? I don't know. And so this is going to be an interesting character. I'm not even sure how long he's going to last. Um, Hopefully, I'm going to be able to get some hirelings or maybe another PC that I can make during introduce during the first session. Um, this video is kind of going to be like a session 0, I guess. I don't even know how long I'm going to talk, how much I'm going to edit down. Um, but yeah, this video is going to be highly edited. Or at least in the future it will be, as you know, I have to extemporaneously kind of come up with this stuff on the fly, DM and player. So I will do my best not to metagame. I've run a solo D&D campaign with myself for many years now in 5th edition, and so I've kind of worked out the inner workings of how to add a little bit of surprise to the game, how to add a little bit of um, you know, the unknown is what you're always missing in a solo D&D campaign, whether you're DM or player. You know, you always have the unknown of not knowing what the other person's going to do. But when it's just you and you have to read the module as the DM to like understand where to take the story, kind of already know where everything is going to go, so it makes it a little more difficult to not metagame and to kind of stay in character. But I don't know. It's just I have DM for so long, playing characters that and solo D&D by myself for so long. I feel confident in the fact that I will be able to uh, just keep the story going without, um, you know, game breaking stuff. When it gets to things like secret doors and traps, it gets a little bit harder. But as far as overarching story, I am not concerned. Um, yeah. So this module is very cute. I really like it. I really like Evening Star. And it has just amazing detail of everything. You know, it talks about the surrounding areas. It talks about like what the forest looks like. You know, what it talks about the local uh, woods here. Talks about what they use it for, what their main exports are. You know, all of these things that I added into my creation campaign, which hopefully we'll see soon as well. Fingers crossed. But and it talks about all the players, and it talks about all of this, and then it kind of just suggests. It doesn't really. It's not a module as we would see it today. You know, you take Tomb of Annihilation, right? For example, where you have chapters and, um, you know, like an overarching story, an overarching goal that the module gives you, and it's going to walk you through kind of checkpoints on how to get there. For this kind of module, there are still chapters, and they give you a lot of information, and they give you a dungeon, which is obviously the main goal is to complete the dungeon. But as far as getting there, there's not really checkpoints. It's kind of just like, these are things that you could do, and I'm not going to go, and they're not going to go into detail of the things that you could do, because it's up to the DM to ascribe it to their setting, to their players. And I think that's something that just, you know, it's something that we've lost in 5th edition, where we're so used to everything being given to us. And not to say that that's not good for, like, you know, when you just want to get drunk and play with your friends. That's really good for when you want to do that. Trust me, I know. But at the same time, if you're really geeky like me and you'll just like to get into it and just nerd out on resources, resource management, on resource, insane magic items, insane spells, insane monsters that you've never heard of, and have all of these incredible stats and all of these incredible niches, and it's all just so thought out. And in all of the the research and listening and watching that I've done thus far, it's just been AD&D Second Edition is just full of options, and options can be overwhelming, and that's part of the reason that Wizards of the Coast, formerly TSR, during this, um, kind of started to switch to more accessible gaming, for a more approachable experience, because all of these options, seeing just module after module after module after option, all of these things, it's just like, oh, I don't even know where to begin. I can't learn all of this. I can't read all of this. Um, and that's good because it expands the game. But for people like me who have gotten essentially done all that 5e can do, not to say that it's a little unfair because you've never done it all, but there's only so many things that you can do, especially when it comes to like combat, character customization, spells. Just 5e is, for lack of a better term, dumbed down a lot, and Second Edition, I think, is going to allow me to get out this. This fixation on the details and the stats and the nitty-gritty core of the Gygaxian game that once was D&D and no longer is, to an extent. But yeah, I really just needed to make this video to kind of get started, and so my character is not great. You can see his stats aren't great. Um, but I think we have potential to just get started. And I really just, I've been hesitating for days, if not weeks, to make this video. And I really just needed to get it out there for me and get started and get the creative juices flowing. And I think I've gotten to a point in understanding in the rules and creative generation on how I'm going to make these videos that I just needed to go up and make it, and that's what this was. And so I think I've achieved that. And so we'll be using Fantasy Grounds, some PDFs that I got, totally legitimately, and but I bought this module, so I don't feel bad about it. Hasbro still gets their blood from the mill. But yeah, I will hopefully see you very soon in the next video where we will start. I've already decided, like all great adventures, in a tavern. It's either a tavern or a school. Those are the two starting points for every D&D adventure anywhere. And so we're going to start in the tavern of Evening Star, with Torque Holderheck, hopefully sizing up exactly what he needs to do, maybe talking to his employer, he is an axe for hire after all, about exactly what he is in Evening Star for. And hopefully introduce some new tools, kind of focus on maybe a rule, a video, like one specific rule that we can zone in on and kind of just refine our knowledge with achievable goals one thing at a time. But yeah, I think this was productive for me and productive, hopefully, for all of you watching. So I would thank you for watching in the first place, and I hope to see you in many more adventures, whether it be Torque, AD&D, or anything else. Farewell.